Hello YouTube, it is your boy, B3, back with another kicking graphic novel review. And we got a dope one for you today. Last time we did Redman Volume 1, and as promised, today we are doing Redman Volume 2. But before we get started, let's talk about our sponsor, Comics Plus of Macon.com. It is the shop where I get all my comics, my toys, etc. This is the online store for my local comic shop. They have hooked me up for years and years, ever since I was a little baby in high school. They have always been great to me there. And I want to share the love. Also, I get commission. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I don't. Because I think that's illegal, actually. But, ComicsPlusAmaken.com. Use coupon code HUNT Rocks My Socks for 10% off your order. There is some cool Toku stuff on there if you guys are interested in that specifically. There's lots of great collectibles, and I'm sure you will all love it. So that is it. Thank you all once again for supporting my sponsor, and now we will continue on to the review of Redman Volume 2 by Matt Frank and Giancarlo Lopez. So yeah, Redman. Let's read the back. He is Redman, and his hunt continues. Imprisoned in a vicious cycle of death and violence, Redman's exhaustive battle persists. New monsters, kaiju, confront him at every turn, on land, in the sea, and even underground. He fights the beasts with every last fiber of his being, innovating and reimagining his attacks and weaponry to ensure his victory. What forces have brought him to this place, and continue to pit the kaiju against him? It's a mystery he is determined to confront, and soon. The original Redman television series from Subarai Productions debuted April 24th, 1972. It ran for 138 episodes, ending in October of the same year. Its penchant for the unusual treatment of its main hero, as well as for the creatures he dispatched each episode, led to the show finding status as a cult hit and internet phenomenon. Now artist Matt Frank from Godzilla and Transformers, and colorist Giancarlo Lopez from BioWars and Dodge City bring the tokusatsu hero back to life in the pages of a new comic series, and no kaiju is safe. I read Matt Frank on Godzilla Rulers of Earth, and it was really good. I've seen his art for Transformers, and it's pretty awesome, but I haven't read that run. I have a friend who has, though. They really liked it. I don't know what BioWars is, and I'm familiar with Dodge City, too, even though I haven't read it. But Redman Volume 2, I have the first print, very nice. I actually ordered this set, where I got the reprint of Volume 1 with the exclusive cover, the first printing of Volume 2. I got the Redman Dark Tokyo Comic-Con exclusive action figure. It's only like 300 in existence. And I also got 2 Chase Rare Redman cards. And then, they failed Night Shining, because you can only get these from Night Shining. They're on Amazon too, but they're sold by Night Shining. They forgot to send me my Volume 1, and it took months and months and months to get it to me. And they sent me a bunch of free Redman swag with it. So, you know, lucky I'm a patient guy, because I probably wouldn't have put up... Most people would have been really mad by the time I got my book, because it was almost a year later. But I'm a pretty patient fellow. So yeah, Redman Volume 2. Matt Frank's art is fucking stunning, and it always will be. He's one of the best artists out there, and he is the best artist out there for kaiju. He knows exactly how to draw kaiju. He knows how to make them big and imposing. He gets all his angles just right, and it's the facial expressions. Matt Frank nails the fucking facial expressions. Lots of people I see drawing kaiju, they draw them like they're the suit. But Frank, he don't do that shit. He makes them more expressive because he knows he can, and it adds to the work. I think if anyone else was doing this book, it wouldn't be good. I feel like I can say that. Because the facial expressions of the kaiju and stuff carry this book. Because there's little to no dialogue. Which makes sense. That's in the vein of the show, you know? Because there was really almost no dialogue in the show. In the show, all you heard was Reddo fight, and then the name of each of Redman's weapons that he used. Reddo knife, Reddo arrow, etc. Maybe a Reddo chop or Reddo kick, something like that, you know what I mean? But, I mean, the art is just fantastic, and it's a real visual book. You know what I was thinking? Because I have one of my best friends in this world is dyslexic, and she wanted to watch the Batman Hush movie. And normally, I'm not the type of person who's like, you have to read the comic first before you watch the movie. Normally, I'm not that type of person. But Batman Hush is my favorite Batman story of all time. And they changed the ending for the movie, which is fine. And I was like, okay, you need to read the comic first. But she's dyslexic. And so I was thinking, but she wants to read a lot of my comics. She just has trouble with it sometimes. So I was going through my collection, and Comic Sans is actually a dyslexic-friendly font. Fun trivia for you. But I was like, which of my comics would be good for her? And then I was looking at these, and I was like, hey, these are fucking perfect for her, because she barely has to do any reading at all. It's just all these beautiful, magnificent visuals, and they are magnificent. And the writing's good, too. It almost feels like poetry. I said this in the last review. It almost feels more like a poem than a comic. It's so nice. It begins with Redman Dark, like just falling to the planet and then having to fight some monsters. And then Redman Dark's like, what the fuck was all that? And then we get Redman himself fighting monsters like Burdon and Telsidon, Beacon. Just lots of fantastic fights. And lots of the time in the show, Redman would fight multiple monsters at once, and they really carry that over to the book, too. Most of the time, he's fighting more than one monster at a time. You see Gubira, who's actually a favorite of mine, the drill-nosed fish-like monster. Love it. And then it fuses with Gessira to become Gessirabira, which is an original monster, I believe. I don't think that was ever in an Ultraman show. Not to my knowledge, but it's not like I've watched every Ultraman show either. And then this book gets just straight up bloody. There's this one shot where Redman comes up out of the water, but the water is just filled with kaiju blood, and oh my god, it's so good. But eventually, he's fighting around and he finds a big broadcasting dish. He's like, what the fuck? But from the last volume that he's been watched by cicada people the whole time. It's almost like they've made a reality show out of his life, and the transmissions of him fighting kaiju that we saw were real. But they were just coming from another planet. And I think that's really fun. So that shows in continuity with this almost. But Redman kind of finds this area, and he finds the cicada people, but then he touches one and it crumbles. So the cicada people have molted and left this just little TV set. This old little TV set. And then they talk to Redman, and this creepy arm changes the dial, and Redman Dark appears, and then there's a Redo fight between Redman and Redman Dark, and I loved it, because it's done in this crazy stylized way, like the Ultraman opener. And you see that, and you can't tell who's winning the fight the entire time, because they look the same. And then at the end, it shows who wins, and this monster seems to start bursting out of the ground, and it's I cannot wait for volume 3. I know this is a very niche book, if you're not already a big kaiju or Toku Hero fan, what the fuck is Aquaman doing back there? If you're not a big Toku Hero or kaiju fan, it might be a little hard for you to get into this book. But if you are one, especially if you've watched the Redman show, then you might really like this, because it's better than it looks. It's really niche, as I said. It takes a very specific type of it has a pretty specific audience. I gotta say that. But it's an affordable book. My volume, if I would have bought them separately instead of buying the bundle, because I actually saved a lot of money on the bundle, especially with the action figure that came with it, and that's the only way to get those trading cards. Volume 1 was $18.99, Volume 2 $19.99. That's pretty good, and they're kind of thick, bro. Hashtag thick bros. Inside joke that a friend of mine that I've written many reviews with will understand. I really like this Redman book. Volume 3 cannot get here soon enough. Thank you, Matt Frank. Thank you, Goncalo Lopez. You have made an incredible book. Very enjoyable. Very, very enjoyable, people. Enjoyable book. Once again, if you're already a tokusatsu or kaiju fan, you definitely want this. If you haven't ever ventured into toku or kaiju, maybe it's not for you. Maybe read some other toku kaiju stuff first. Watch yourself a few episodes of Redman. Lots of episodes of Redman are on YouTube. They used to all be, but then Tsuburaya took most of them down. But you can find Redman episodes easily enough. You know, you can find Redman batches. But that's it for this graphic novel review. I don't know which one we'll do next time. I'm leaning towards maybe either a DC or Pumpkinhead. But my Pumpkinhead book isn't in yet. And I did order my Pumpkinhead book, yes, from comicsplusofmacon.com. I ordered it from the physical store, but comicsplusofmacon.com, once again, has so many fun collectibles. I've been a loyal shopper there for years, even before they were sponsoring me. You were seeing me make videos with stuff that they sold me. Great deals, and etc. They even sold me that Aquaman that you just that I just had to grab. And remember, coupon code HuntRocksYourSocks, link in the description below to the website, and the coupon code written out the way it needs to be typed in. All that's in the description for you. Thank you all once again. I'll see y'all later.